Aloha, Pepsi Cola. So, just kind of going around my computer, looking at some things in the past, just looking around, some folders. I came across these short stories I made many years ago, and I think they were just kind of like short stories to kind of supplement that Luna Billy game I made, and it's kind of has kind of like the same theme going on. It's got this like trucker space hillbilly redneck thing going on, Americana. It's weird, but yeah, just all part of this whole universe. And so I thought I would share a couple of little short stories I made from this that I found. And so here's one: the story of Big Tex, cowboy warlord of Mars. Mars is a barren, dusty place and cold as shit. Not sure, not sure why people are so crazy about trying to search for the American dream there. Is it the Vegas-style cities that dot the edge of the big Valles Marineris Canyon, or maybe it's the gold rush? Is there even gold on Mars? Well, I'd like to turn the attention to this other part of Mars that is the weirdest thing you'd ever see. Back in the pioneering times of settling Mars, there was a little war in southern Mars. A collection of settlements were joined together by this man they called Big Tex. Big Tex was a eccentric type. He believed he was a cowboy god emperor sent to conquer Mars into a Wild West empire. Everyone thought he was batshit crazy at first. Thought he lost a few marbles along the way. But this Big Tex was a charismatic of a leader, as he was loony. He proclaimed himself Emperor Big Tex, first president of the Desert Empire. He was a bit of a cowboy diplomacy warlord, of course. He conquered a great deal of land in southern Mars. From his hometown, he built a new city called Cactus City. Every building was to be built in a style of Wild West. Every person was to wear Wild West themed clothing. Every goddamn person was to talk in a generic Wild West voice. These people were brainwashed into believing Big Tex was their god, and every 4 years he was holding an election, a fake election. Kind of a tyrannic paradise for this weirdo. For the weirdos, pretty much. People loved their dear governor, as they called him, that they built a ginormous cactus monument in his honor. This sucker was huge, probably the tallest thing on Mars besides the big ass volcano called Olympus. Everyone fears. Wait, what? Everyone fears will burst, which is lunacy. I don't know. Everyone's fears will burst, which is lunacy. Some type of weird type. I don't know. Big Tex didn't know he was immortal. That he was mortal because he was that crazy and stupid that also a brilliant bad man. One night during the Empire-wide gorging holiday, where every citizen was to stuff their face until they threw up, like a super Thanksgiving, as they would call it, the dear governor choked on some ribs and died with his face in a giant pile of meats of beasts of many sizes. One of the governor's attendants actually came into the dinner room to find they actually carved something in the table before he died. It said, "This town is big enough for only me." And there's the story of Big Tex there, I guess. So we'll go on to another one here. So this one is the Colonel Ken in the Blue Corn. Kind of like Johnny Appleseed a little bit. kind of like influenced by that. Anywho, in the good old pioneer times of the lunar frontier, getting the right price for dirt, mostly by acres, to put into the regolith surface of the moon was often pricey when the agricultural boom started. Importing such huge quantities of valuable terrestrial soil was high demand. It gave truckers a lot to do those days. What made up half of the freight to the moon was the Kansas gold. That's Kansas dirt, that is. Now, to grow even one strain of wheat on the black lunar air was a miracle that rarely anyone, what rarely would happen those days. To grow something from truck stoppers on some strange new world was going to take some doing. One newcomer to the moon who lived in a little town called Juke Springs knew if there was ever going to be a first real Thanksgiving or a 4th of July, there was had to be some food. They called him Colonel Ken. He had a goal in life to see a field of corn on every country road on the moon by his death. Boy oh Danny, he would see just that. Now on the moon there isn't much native vegetation. The only things you're bound to find is mushrooms. So would it be just the brightest idea to try breeding a new combination of the mushrooms and the earthcorn? Something that could survive and have a whole new corny taste as well. Something quite queer to other corn. Well, Colonel Corn did just that, and behold, in this field right on the edge of town, strange new corn started popping and growing right out of the ground. The corn was tall and blue, had a blue hue, like a light blue hue to it, and shiny. Colonel Ken was the first brave soul to sink his hungry, watery mouth right into the cob. Blue corn, as it is now called, usually had a sour kick at the first when biting right in. Then it turned as sweet as apple pie. Colonel Ken would go out to every farmer's field to plant a new crop across the moon. The spreading of the blue corn was a huge step in making the pioneering life grand. But it didn't stop with the corn. Soon new crops, plants, trees, flowers were given the same treatment. So explains why trees are blue and the grass as well on the moon, apparently. Colonel Ken would travel across the galaxy to spread the shiny blue corn across space until retiring to his famous farm on the edge of a little town called Juke Springs. So there you go. There's the story of Colonel Ken and why there's a bunch of trees and plants and stuff on the moon, apparently. In this universe, that is. I think it'd be time for one more, perhaps. Well, let's talk about the strange cult surrounded by barbecue. So, this is the abridged version of Cosmic Cookbook. And as it is spelled is COSMIQUUQ. Excuse me. Is spelled as COSMIKUKBOK. So you have Cosmic Cook Book. Yep. I know. It's so clever. Well, anyway, in the beginning, here, let me get to. So kind of like it's like a Bible, like it's kind of like inspired in the Bible. So you'll notice that at the beginning of this. It's pretty much their Bible in this cult, this barbecue cult. Anyway, in the beginning of time and space, nothing existed. There was no beer, there was no burgers, there was no football. Just blankness filled the void of the universe as it was. It wasn't long until something appeared, a strong force that creating something out of nothing. For there stood a metallic frame. Bars after bars of metal grew out of nothing, of the void. This force that broke the emptiness was the Creator. The Creator was a grill master, a master of his craft, the craft being the universe, for his holy name was Cowabunga. His first ever creation was a grill made of pure gold. Then he felt it needed a base to set on in the blankness of the void. So he created a yard of grass, a fence, and then a house for himself to reside. This is to be called the most holy domain, the cosmic backyard. He was not content enough with his own home. He had cooked and grilled his own meals for himself, but felt he needed company on a warm space summer evening. So he made a neighborhood which all of the galaxies, all the stars, and all the planets were a part of. He then populated his own neighborhood with folks, people of many types. He gave them suitable worlds to live and do with their own hearts. Content in being as mighty as he was, he began to create idea of his own, a party, which every being of many types were invited. He sent out a few of his closest neighbors to tell the rest of the neighborhood. These were the messengers, prophets that would take the shape of barnyard animals. A cow named Move, a pig named Squilkron, a chicken named Cluckety. It's like Cluckety? Yeah, Cluckety. It's like, yeah, I think that's how I made it, how I imagine, pronounced it probably. A sheep named Woo Leadin, a rabbit named Floppums, a horse named Neyron. Yeah, like Nay. And a goat named Chudy. Oh my god. Their divine mission was to spread the invitation to the universe of the cosmic barbecue party. But one of the prophets was not in favor of such a bodacious event. Cluckety didn't feel the party would be as big of a universal hit as Cowabunga believed, so he went to spread the word of the great invitation, but it wasn't a positive one. In a stab in the back, he broke every trust of the other prophets and kind of pissed off Cowabunga. The Holy Grill Master did what he never thought he would have to. Never thought he would have to do in such a cool universe of his own design. He kicked Cluckety out of the cosmic neighborhood. Furious and vengeful, Cluckety created his own dimension out of his own anger, one of fire and charcoal. This was to be called the other side of the town, a infernal universe of everything sinful and evil, a place that every being in the cosmic neighborhood fears to go to. But some do, and it's the sinful powers of the chicken devil that makes some people do bad things that wouldn't allow them to come when a party was ready. But the holy messengers do the righteous duties to spread the teachings of the Holy Grill Master. A day will come when the barbecue party will be ready for the universe. For the Holy Grill Master has a recipe he is going to use called galactic pork, which will be so good that every mortal being in the neighborhood will be able to go to a paradise even more cool than the cosmic backyard, a domain only exclusive to the Grill Master and holy messengers. So I say to you, brother, take a slice of the galactic pork. So yeah, I had some quite the imagination there how I made these short stories, I guess. And I guess I have a few more, so I mean, if anyone's interested in these things, if they're even watching this still, I mean, I can still do some more in the future. But yep. Anyway, this has been Corey. I'll see you all in the next one. Have a good Saturday night. See ya.